You have 24 hours to get that car out of here, or I'll call the sheriff and make you regret ever setting foot in this place, Olivia Bennett, president of the Magnolia Ridge HOA, shouted, pointing at the gleaming silver Rolls-Royce Phantom in Lucas Carter's driveway. Her eyes blazed, as if she could burn down the entire upscale neighborhood. But Olivia had no idea that a single secret in Lucas's hands could topple her empire of power, stripping her of her reputation, wealth, and freedom. A secret powerful enough to shake all of Magnolia Ridge was waiting for Lucas to unveil. Want to know what led to this moment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. When you finish this story, if you find it worth your time, share it with friends and consider subscribing to the channel. Tomorrow, I'll bring you another unforgettable story, just for you. A gentle breeze swept through Magnolia Ridge, carrying the scent of freshly cut grass and the chirping of birds in ancient oak trees. Lucas Carter, a 35-year-old black billionaire, stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows of his new home, gazing at the silver Rolls-Royce Phantom sparkling in the driveway, in a tailored suit, with a Rolex glinting on his wrist. Lucas exuded the presence of a man who had conquered every challenge. He was the founder of PayStream, a financial technology company that took him from the rough streets of Chicago to the cover of Forbes. Today, Lucas wasn't in a glossy boardroom or on a magazine cover. He stood in his dream home, where he and his wife, Emily, wanted to build a peaceful life. The house was a new chapter. Lucas and Emily had moved to Magnolia Ridge 6 months ago, seeking tranquility after years of battling prejudice and pressure. They wanted a place where their 14-year-old daughter, Mia, could grow up in peace, with a sprawling yard and friendly neighbors. Magnolia Ridge, with its manicured lawns and serene air, seemed like the perfect American dream. The Rolls-Royce was a gift Lucas gave Emily after a billion-dollar deal, not just a symbol of success, but a promise of a life worth living. But that dream shattered on a Tuesday morning. A letter arrived, printed on thick, luxurious paper, bearing the header of the Magnolia Ridge Homeowners Association. Lucas, sipping coffee in the kitchen, opened it with a wry smile. Probably another rule about fence paint colors, he said to Emily, who was arranging tulips in a crystal vase. But as he read, his smile vanished. The letter sued him over the Rolls-Royce, calling it an unapproved commercial vehicle and accusing him of stealing it because a guy like him couldn't legally own such a car. It demanded he surrender the vehicle to the HOA for inspection and threatened fines or a lien on his property if he didn't comply. Lucas reread it, disbelief washing over him. Olivia Bennett, the HOA president, had signed it with a flamboyant flourish, claiming Lucas was running an illegal luxury transport service from his home. Who do they think they are? Lucas handed the letter to Emily. She read it, her eyes shifting from surprise to anger. They're saying you stole our car because you're black. Emily, gentle but unyielding, gripped Lucas's hand. This isn't a mistake. It's an insult. Lucas tried to stay calm. It's probably a mix-up. I'll call them. Clear it up in 5 minutes. He was confident, as he was in business. But the call to the HOA office led to a cold, automated system. Finally, a curt staffer said, "All disputes must be submitted in writing to the board. Ms. Bennett handles all legal matters." Then she hung up. Lucas stared at the phone, irritation rising. This wasn't a glitch, it was deliberate. Magnolia Ridge was where Lucas and Emily chose to escape the world's scrutiny. They wanted a community where no one judged them for their skin color or success. But Olivia Bennett, the HOA president, seemed to embody every prejudice they'd faced. Lucas had only seen her once, from a distance, directing a landscaping crew like a general. Whispers from neighbors painted her as a tyrant, fining people for trivial infractions, from grass height to curtain colors. Lucas thought staying quiet would keep Olivia at bay. But the Rolls-Royce, a symbol of his success, had made their home a target. He called his lawyer, Sarah Nguyen, a sharp mind who'd helped him with billion-dollar deals. "This is textbook power abuse," Sarah said after hearing the story. "She thinks you'll be too scared to fight. But we'll push back. Document everything: letters, emails, every interaction." 2 days later, another letter arrived, this time by certified mail. Olivia added new accusations: a $6,000 fine for unapproved driveway surfacing due to tire marks, $12,000 for noise pollution, though the Rolls-Royce was silent as night. Worst was a $25,000 penalty for operating an unpermitted home business. The total was $43,000 plus the threat to seize the car. Lucas felt his pulse pound. This wasn't about rules. It was extortion. That evening, as Lucas and Emily sat in their backyard, 2 men in compliance uniforms appeared near the fence. No logos, just menacing stares. Lucas stepped out, voice steady. "What do you want?" The taller one, with a neck tattoo, smirked. "Just checking if you're following the rules." "On my property?" Lucas asked. "We're on the common area," the man replied, pointing to the grass strip by the road. They stood there for 3 hours, silent and threatening, until darkness fell. Emily gripped Lucas's hand, her eyes worried. "She's trying to scare us." Lucas nodded, anger rising. Olivia wasn't just sending fines, she was terrorizing them in their own home. That weekend, things escalated. Lucas was in the garage, polishing the Rolls-Royce, soft rock music playing. A police car pulled up, and a young, weary officer approached. "We got a complaint about a disturbance," he said, gesturing at the garage. Lucas turned off the music. "Disturbance? I'm cleaning my car." The officer sighed. "The caller said you were laughing maniacally and revving an engine, possibly prepping for a street race." Before Lucas could explain, a second officer said, "For safety, turn around and put your hands behind your back." Cold handcuffs snapped onto his wrists. Across the street, Olivia appeared, phone raised, live streaming with a triumphant grin. "I told you he stole it," she shouted. But 2 minutes later, a VIN check confirmed Lucas's legal ownership. The officer removed the cuffs, handing back his ID. "Sorry for the hassle. Mr. Carter." Olivia stood frozen, her smile fading as neighbors began whispering. Lucas locked eyes with her, voice icy. "Street race. This car doesn't make a sound." He pointed at the silent Rolls-Royce. The officer glanced at Olivia, clearly annoyed, and drove off. Olivia muttered, "This isn't over." Carter. But Lucas knew she'd gone too far. Olivia hadn't just slandered him, she'd weaponized the police, sent intimidators, and fabricated fines to break him. His logical approach had failed. Sarah advised staying calm. But Lucas wasn't a victim. He was a strategist, a protector of his family. That night, in his office lit by glowing monitors, Lucas sat with Emily. "Who does she think she is?" Emily said, voice trembling with anger. "She's targeting you because you're black, because you're more successful than she'll ever be." Lucas nodded. "This isn't a neighborhood, Emily. It's a battlefield, and Olivia doesn't know who she's up against." Lucas called Marcus Reed, an old Stanford friend and tech genius who'd exposed corporate fraud before. "Marcus, I need you to dig into this HOA. Find out what Olivia's doing and why she's after me." Marcus chuckled over the phone. "Give me a few days. If there's dirt, I'll find it." Lucas knew Marcus wouldn't fail. He'd taken down bigger fish than Olivia. Lucas took action. He activated a high-tech surveillance drone, flying legally over his property, but close enough to watch Olivia's house 2 streets away. It recorded every car, delivery, and visitor. He installed thermal cameras and directional mics, all legal, aimed at the public road to gather data. Olivia had sent people to watch him now. He'd watch her in ways she couldn't imagine. Marcus quickly found a weakness. The HOA's website was a mess, riddled with security holes. "She's running everything from an outdated laptop with no firewall," Marcus said. "It's not a fortress, it's a shack with a cheap lock." Lucas felt adrenaline surge. Olivia wasn't clever, she thrived on her neighbor's fear. But Lucas wasn't afraid. He had technology, resources, and the will to bring her down. Olivia thought she was fighting someone who'd give in. She was about to learn she'd picked the wrong enemy. Olivia Bennett didn't back down after the police left Lucas Carter's driveway. She doubled down, her attacks growing bolder and more vicious. One night, under a moonless Colorado sky, the sharp crack of breaking glass shattered the silence of Magnolia Ridge. Lucas bolted out of bed, the acrid stench of gasoline hitting him as he rushed to his front yard. His heart sank at the sight the Rolls-Royce Phantom's driver's side window was smashed, its silver paint scratched with jagged, hateful lines. A brick lay on the ground, wrapped in a note scrawled with a single word: "Leave." Lucas's security cameras, installed days earlier, caught the culprit, a hooded figure, unmistakably Olivia's nephew, Ryan Bennett, 24, fleeing into the darkness. Lucas clenched his fists, his anger a quiet, burning force. Olivia had crossed into criminal territory, and she'd just handed him undeniable evidence. By morning, a new email from the county environmental office arrived, accusing Lucas of contaminating a protected drainage zone with construction materials he'd never used. The accusation was baseless, tied to a dry ditch on his property that hadn't seen water in years. Then, neighbors' cars began parking strategically near his driveway, not blocking it outright but making it nearly impossible for delivery trucks to pass. When Lucas confronted them, they claimed to be exercising their rights on public roads, their smirks as sharp as the gasoline still lingering in the air. Olivia's next move was even dirtier. Fake signs appeared along the street, warning hazardous construction activity, "Keep out." They looked official, with the county's logo. But Lucas's contractor, Tom, called in a panic. "Lucas, clients are asking if I'm handling toxic waste. Rumors are spreading that your property's a health hazard. I can't lose business over this." Olivia was weaponizing the community, turning neighbors against Lucas with lies. But Lucas wasn't fazed. He knew desperate people slipped, and Olivia was unraveling. He called Marcus Reed, his tech-savvy friend. "Marcus, dig deeper into Olivia's operation. This isn't just about me, there's a bigger game here." Marcus, his voice crackling with excitement, replied, "I'm already on it. I found payments to shell companies tied to Olivia's brother-in-law, Stephen Bennett. I'll have a full report soon." Lucas trusted Marcus's ability to unearth digital dirt he'd exposed corporate scams before. While waiting, Lucas got a text from his neighbor Greg. "Olivia's at it again on the Facebook group. She's calling you a public safety risk, saying you're running an illegal operation. She posted a photo of you with your car, edited to make it look like you're hiding something." Lucas checked the group. The comments were vicious. "Get him out. He's a danger to our kids." Greg texted again. 4 families reached out privately. "Olivia's threatening to triple their fees if they don't back her claims against you." Lucas sensed a shift. Olivia wasn't just targeting him, she was bullying the entire neighborhood. He forwarded the texts to Sarah Nguyen, his lawyer. "Sarah, she's slandering me online and strong-arming residents. What's our play?" Sarah's voice was razor-sharp. "Defamation and coercion are serious. I'll draft a lawsuit. But we need more evidence to make it stick." That evening, Marcus sent a bombshell report. Lucas, Olivia's HOA collected $1.5 million in fees, but $1 million went to accounts linked to Stephen Bennett's construction firm. No invoices, no projects, just transfers to fake companies. And get this, Peak Lux Resorts is planning a $75 million eco-retreat. Your land is the linchpin for their private lake access. Olivia's not just running the HOA, she's their front woman. Lucas's jaw tightened. His property was the key to a massive deal, and Olivia was willing to destroy him to get it. Olivia's desperation made her sloppy. Lucas upgraded his security 4K cameras, motion sensors, and thermal imaging, all legal and aimed at public spaces. If Olivia wanted to play dirty, she'd be caught in high definition. That night, his cameras recorded a pickup truck creeping down his street. Ryan Bennett, Olivia's nephew, was back, splashing paint thinner on Lucas's driveway, clearly planning another attack. Floodlights snapped on, exposing him. He fled, leaving a can of thinner behind. Lucas saved the footage, now holding proof of vandalism and attempted arson. The next morning, Olivia escalated further. A process server delivered an emergency court order, accusing Lucas of running an illegal commercial hub and demanding he demolish his garage. The document claimed he was endangering community safety with his unauthorized activities. Lucas read the 25 pages of lies, each word dripping with malice. By noon, county inspectors swarmed his property, citing violations for everything from electrical wiring to non-existent drainage issues. One inspector, clearly uneasy, whispered, "Sorry, Mr. Carter, this comes from higher up. Someone's got deep pockets." Lucas nodded, the stench of corruption as clear as the mountain air. The worst blow came that afternoon. Mia called, her voice breaking. "Dad, kids at school are sharing posts saying you're a criminal. They're saying I shouldn't be around you. Why are they doing this?" Lucas's heart sank. Olivia had posted again on the Facebook group, labeling him a dangerous outsider and implying he was a threat to children. Comments tore into Mia. "Her dad's a crook. Keep her away from our kids." Lucas gripped his phone, rage boiling. Olivia wasn't just after him, she was hurting his daughter. He called Sarah immediately. "She's targeting Mia now. This is personal. We need to hit back hard," Sarah replied. "Defaming a minor is a line she shouldn't have crossed. We can sue for emotional distress on top of everything else. But we need airtight evidence." Lucas forwarded the vandalism footage and Marcus's report. "We're getting there," he said, his voice steady but fierce. Marcus called late that night, his tone urgent. "Lucas, I found a $600,000 payment from Peak Lux Resorts to a consulting firm in Olivia's name. It's a bribe to secure your land. Every move she's made fines. Vandalism, slander is to force you out for their project." The pieces clicked. Olivia wasn't just a tyrant, she was a hired gun for a multi-million-dollar deal. But Olivia kept pushing. She filed another court order, demanding a mental health evaluation for Lucas, claiming he showed erratic behavior and threatened neighbors. The document cited fake witnesses who said Lucas had been lurking at night, shouting conspiracies. It was pure fiction, but polished enough to fool a judge. Lucas knew she was desperate. Her deal with Peak Lux depended on his land, and every day he stayed cost her millions. Lucas met Sarah again, handing over Ryan's footage and Marcus's findings. Is this enough to take her down? Sarah scanned the documents, her eyes gleaming. The vandalism is criminal. The financials point to fraud and bribery. We can sue for defamation, property damage, and coercion. But if there's something bigger tied to your land, we could end this for good. Her words sparked a memory. Roland, Lucas's uncle, had once said, "That land holds secrets worth more than gold." Lucas, if trouble comes, check the safe in the garage. Lucas returned to his garage, the Rolls-Royce gleaming under the lights. Behind a stack of boxes, he found an old safe, rusted but solid. Using Roland's wedding anniversary, he opened it. Inside was a stack of documents thick as a novel. At the top was a certificate for Brooks Enterprises, LLC, formed by Roland 20 years ago. Below were contracts from 2009 when the Magnolia Ridge developer went bankrupt, Roland had bought the land titles under all 18 homes in the HOA, including Olivia's, for a fraction of their value. Lucas held the papers, his pulse racing. He didn't just own his 15 acres, he owned the ground beneath Olivia's feet and the entire neighborhood. Residents thought they owned their homes, but they were tenants of Brooks Enterprises. Olivia had been collecting HOA fees on land she didn't control, and her own rent was 4 months overdue. Lucas could evict her with a 30-day notice. The weight of the discovery hit him like a freight train. Olivia wasn't just a bully, she was a fraud, and he held the key to her downfall. He brought the documents to Sarah's office. "This is it," he said, laying them out. Sarah's eyes widened as she read. "This is dynamite. Olivia's been stealing from tenants on your land. We can sue for fraud, defamation, and more. But we need to play this smart to maximize the impact." Lucas nodded. "I don't just want her gone. I want to free this neighborhood from her grip." Sarah grinned. "Then we'll use her own stage against her. The HOA meeting is in a week. That's where we strike." Olivia, unaware of the storm brewing, made one last move. A morning raid by sheriff's deputies descended on Lucas's property, lights flashing and sirens blaring. Reporters trailed behind, drawn by Olivia's tip about a dangerous resident. A deputy's voice boomed through a megaphone. "Lucas Carter. You're surrounded. Come out with your hands up." Lucas stepped onto his porch, calm but resolute, facing a wall of guns. Olivia had accused him of stockpiling hazardous materials to sabotage the community. It was her boldest lie yet, but Lucas was ready. He handed the deputy the USB with Ryan's vandalism footage. "Start with this," he said. The stage was set for Olivia's reckoning, and Lucas was about to turn her own game against her. Lucas Carter stood on his porch, the morning sun glinting off the Rolls-Royce Phantom as sheriff's deputies surrounded his Magnolia Ridge home, their rifles trained on him. Olivia Bennett's accusation of stockpiling hazardous materials had brought a SWAT team and news vans to his doorstep, her boldest attempt yet to force him out. But Lucas was unshaken. He handed Sheriff Daniels a USB drive containing Ryan Bennett's vandalism footage. "Watch this first," Lucas said, his voice steady as steel. Daniels viewed the clip, his jaw tightening as Ryan's face filled the screen, caught red-handed with paint thinner. "This complicates her story," Daniels muttered, signaling the SWAT team to stand down. The bomb squad swept Lucas's property, finding nothing but construction supplies. Olivia's lie collapsed, but she wasn't done. She was gearing up for the annual HOA meeting, her stage to cement her power. She didn't know Lucas was about to turn it into her trial. As the deputies left, Lucas met with Sarah Nguyen, his lawyer, and Marcus Reed, his tech genius friend, in his home office. "We've got vandalism, fraud, and coercion," Sarah said, reviewing Ryan's footage and Marcus's financial report. "But the Brooks Enterprises documents are our trump card. Olivia's been stealing HOA fees on your land. We hit her at the meeting in 5 days. Marcus grinned. "I've built a presentation encrypted, ready to plug into their projector. It's a digital guillotine." Lucas nodded, his eyes fierce. "This isn't just about us. It's about freeing Magnolia Ridge from her chokehold." Olivia, sensing her grip slipping, escalated. A new court order arrived, accusing Lucas of environmental terrorism for allegedly dumping chemicals into the neighborhood's water supply, a fabricated claim tied to his pristine driveway. Then, a fake petition circulated on the HOA's Facebook group, signed by concerned residents, demanding Lucas's immediate eviction. Comments piled up. "He's ruining our community. His kind doesn't belong here." Lucas's blood boiled, knowing Olivia's racist undertones fueled the venom. Mia, his daughter, came home in tears, her phone buzzing with cruel messages from classmates echoing Olivia's lies. "Dad, Why do they hate us, she asked, voice breaking. Lucas hugged her tightly. They don't know us, Mia, but they're about to learn the truth. The next day, Marcus uncovered a bombshell. Lucas. I hacked into a deleted email thread. Olivia and Stephen Bennett were CC'd on a $700,000 consulting fee from Peak Lux Resorts to a shell company owned by Thomas Reed, a city commissioner. Reed's a silent partner in the Eco Retreat project. Olivia's not just a pawn, she's their enforcer, and Reed's the muscle in City Hall. Lucas's jaw clenched. The conspiracy ran deeper than he'd imagined, tying Olivia's HOA tyranny to corrupt city officials. Sarah's eyes gleamed. This is federal-level corruption. We expose Reed at the meeting, and the whole scheme implodes. But Olivia struck again. 2 nights before the meeting, Lucas's security cameras caught Ryan sneaking onto his property, pouring sugar syrup into the Rolls-Royce's gas tank in an attempt to ruin the engine. Floodlights blazed, and Ryan fled, leaving a trail of sticky evidence. Lucas saved the footage, now holding proof of multiple felonies. Then, a county health official arrived, citing Lucas for unsanitary conditions based on a forged report about his backyard. The official, visibly uncomfortable, whispered, "This came from the commissioner's office. I had no choice." Lucas saw Reed's hand at work, tightening the noose. The HOA meeting loomed, and Lucas's team prepared for war. Marcus finalized the presentation, a digital arsenal of evidence: Ryan's vandalism videos, fake invoices, bank transfers to Stephen's shell companies, and the Brooks Enterprises deeds proving Lucas owned the land under Magnolia Ridge. Sarah drafted a legal motion to dissolve the HOA, ready to file the moment Olivia fell. Lucas reached out to Greg, the retired doctor neighbor who'd been fined for his mailbox height. "Greg, we're exposing Olivia at the meeting. Spread the word quietly." Greg's voice crackled with excitement. "I'm on it. Half the neighborhood's fed up with her. They'll show up." The night before the meeting, Olivia made a desperate play. Her compliance goons pounded on Lucas's door, shouting about a new rule banning excessive vehicle lighting because his Rolls-Royce's headlights were too bright. Lucas didn't answer. He triggered his high-pressure sprinklers, hidden in the flower beds. Jets of water blasted the goons, sending them slipping and cursing back to their truck. Lucas watched on his security feed, a grim smile forming. It was a small win, but it signaled the tide turning. The meeting day arrived, the sky heavy with clouds. Lucas suited up, the crisp fabric feeling like armor. Emily kissed him at the door. "Make her pay," she said, her eyes fierce with pride. Marcus parked a block from the community center, his laptop ready to live stream the meeting to residents, local news, and the state attorney general's office. Lucas walked into the packed room, 60 neighbors crammed into a space meant for 30, their faces a mix of fear and anticipation. Greg gave a subtle nod from the front row. Olivia sat at the head table, her red blazer sharp, her smile smug. She misread the crowd's size as loyalty, oblivious to the revolt brewing. Olivia opened with a self-aggrandizing speech, boasting about maintaining property values and enforcing community standards. Lucas let her talk, each word digging her deeper into a trap. She rushed through the agenda, eager to squash dissent. Any questions she asked, her tone dismissive. Lucas stood, leather folder in hand, and walked to the front. Olivia's smile vanished. "You're not a member of this board," she snapped. "You have no right to speak." "Actually," Lucas said, his voice calm but resonant, "I have every right." He held up the Brooks Enterprises certificate. "I own Brooks Enterprises, LLC, which holds the land titles under every home in Magnolia Ridge." The room went silent, a collective gasp hanging in the air. He spread the deeds across the table. You think you own your homes, but you're tenants. Your mortgage payments are rent to my company. Olivia's been collecting HOA fees on land she doesn't control, and she's 4 months behind on her own rent. The crowd erupted shouts, gasps, chairs scraping. Olivia lunged for the documents, screeching. "This is a lie." Lucas stood firm. "You've been stealing from these people." Olivia, while forging my uncle's signature, Sheriff Daniels, in the back, stepped forward, his face grim. "Miss Bennett, you've got some explaining to do." Olivia's composure cracked, her voice shrill. "You can't do this. This is my community." Lucas raised a hand, silencing the chaos. "I'm not here to evict anyone except those who helped Olivia harass my family. But there's more." He plugged Marcus's USB into the projector, and the screen lit up with Ryan's vandalism footage smashing the Rolls-Royce's window, pouring paint thinner. Gasps filled the room. Next came fake invoices, landscaping firms with no address, pool services tied to empty lots, all funneling $1 million to Stephen Bennett's shell companies. The crowd's murmurs grew angry. Then, Lucas played the audio. Olivia's voice, laced with contempt, filled the room. He's stubborn, not folding like the others. Stephen's reply was icy. "Push harder. We need that lot for the eco-retreat, or the deal's dead." The room exploded. Residents leapt to their feet, shouting, "Thief and liar." Greg waved his mailbox fine like a flag, rallying the crowd. Olivia's goons, stationed by the door, slipped out, abandoning her. Lucas wasn't done. "One last thing," he said, his voice cutting through the uproar. He displayed a forged geotechnical report, dated 3 weeks in the future, claiming Lucas's land was unstable due to a subterranean spring. It recommended demolishing his home for safety. The signature was Dr. Alistair Finch, a geologist, but the seal was from the Magnolia Ridge City Planning Commission, co-signed by Commissioner Thomas Reed. Reed's a silent partner in Peak Lux's $75 million eco-retreat, Lucas said. This was Olivia's endgame to steal my home for their project, backed by a corrupt city official. The room became a battlefield. Residents pulled out phones, calling the district attorney, mayor's office, and news stations Marcus had primed with the live stream link. Olivia's face drained of color, her arrogance replaced by panic. She bolted from her chair, shoving past Greg and spilling a water pitcher in her frantic dash for the exit. The crowd parted, watching her downfall with grim satisfaction. She stumbled into the parking lot, eyes darting for escape. Spotting a maintenance golf cart, she jumped in, floored it, and tore across the lawn, ripping up the grass she'd obsessed over for years. Her flight lasted seconds. The cart swerved, crashing into a police cruiser with a dull thud. Detectives, tipped off by Marcus, were waiting. They pulled a dazed Olivia from the wreckage, cuffing her as cameras rolled. Cheers erupted from the crowd, spilling onto the lawn, years of pent-up rage unleashed in a cathartic roar. Inside, the HOA board, Olivia's silent enablers, faced a mob demanding their resignations. They scribbled them on napkins, their power evaporating. Lucas stood amid the chaos, his folder still in hand, when Marcus's watch buzzed with a new alert. "Lucas, I found one more file," Marcus texted. "It's bigger than Reed." Lucas's pulse quickened. The conspiracy wasn't over. Another layer was about to be peeled back, threatening to pull Magnolia Ridge into a deeper storm. Olivia was down, but the forces behind her were still moving, and Lucas was ready to face them head-on. Thank you for following this story. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below. If you'd like more inspiring stories about justice and resilience, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll be back tomorrow with another must-see story you won't want to miss.